time you arrive. I'm like,
Well,
this is not helping.
you're more on a liquid diet anyway, so.
I didn't even drink. I was at Denny's. And I had left my flask at my brother's house. Didn't think I'd need it at the wedding.
Well, yeah, no, you shouldn't drink at weddings, Vickie. That's a kind of a bad
Oh
thing.
my. I did not.
Welcome to Creating Connections, episode 33. She hates it when I do that to her.
I'm used to it now.
I'm Gitomer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor.
And I'm certified personality trainer Vickie Musni.
Welcome to the podcast where we share how to create better connections in your business life, in your social life, in your personal life, and things we can hopefully expound upon, different things that come up throughout the day, topics. And today, what do we have on the docket today, Vickie?
Rehearsals. I want to talk about rehearsals. Rehearsals, the rehearsal themselves, rehearsal dinner. If you're involved in that, in either one of those as a vendor, the connections that you can make at rehearsals, and honestly, what do you do when there isn't one or you didn't get to go to one? Because I've had that a few times recently.
Oh, yeah.
And I have felt very disconnected, and it's been a lot harder to create those connections when you miss out on them at rehearsals. So I just thought that'd be a fun topic. I want to hear how you.
Rehearsals to me are crucial, especially for a ceremony and then also for your performance itself. So we do internal rehearsals for performances where we actually go through the script with our master of ceremonies before the event, the week of, and just kind of confirm things and walk through the timeline and little details that,
So that's you doing that with your MC for that
Normally,
particular
yes.
event. Okay.
Normally, yes. And then the ceremony rehearsal, we walk through essentially, that's what we're talking about, yeah? You want to talk about ceremony rehearsals?
Yes.
So I essentially walk them through the actual, where they're going to be staged. This is kind of going back to Bill Herman and Jason Jones, the entertainment experience, but that you're staging the entire thing. And where people are standing, what their mark is. If you're in theater, that's what it's called, as a mark, which I know you know, and but maybe our viewers don't. So we tell them to kind of get their places and find their mark, and then we step back and look and see how the photographer is going to see it. How are the guests going to view it? And then I say, okay, look, and you're at the third brick from the right. You're going to be standing right there, kind of thing. And then we also discuss with the last.
Do you physically tape the floor if you can?
I have taped the floor. Taping the floor is one of those things that, again, you got to either use different color tape sometimes or whatever the case is. But the other thing, too, that I had that, oh my gosh, Annika and Andy, August 2nd of 2014, did their wedding down at a lighthouse point in St. Ignace, which is right on the Mackinac Straits of Lake Michigan. It's just where the Upper Peninsula meets the Lower Peninsula, essentially, in Michigan. Gorgeous, gorgeous ceremony. And what Annika did, she actually had little rocks with each person's name on it.
That's awesome.
It was so cool. I'm like, that's a great idea. Great idea. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Super cute.
That's perfect.
And so staging, I think, is so important in regards to how people are going to see it.
Back up for a minute. For me and for anyone else watching, how often are you at rehearsal? Is it only when you're officiating? Are you also there when you're providing sound and music?
We have a package called Ceremony, Sound, and Coordination.
Okay.
If a bride books that package, then it includes coordination of the ceremony, and we're there for rehearsal. Whether that includes us as ministers or not. If we have minister service on the event, then yes, absolutely, we go to rehearsal. That's included. But normally they also have what's called ceremony, sound, and coordination. So in that case, it's myself or it's one of our staff who was assigned the event that is going to be at rehearsal. And just walking through the layout, which I think is crucial to a successful event. There's a certain layout, and I can't remember. I don't want to hog the conversation here.
That's okay. Because I'm going to tell you my story from Saturday.
Okay, well, tell me your story from Saturday.
It was a gorgeous venue. It was an out-of-town wedding, which I don't normally do, but this was a bride who heard me speak at an event that I did last summer
Cool.
in Northern California and asked if I would MC her wedding, and hired my husband and I to go down there and do that in Sacramento. So
Awesome.
not a venue I had worked at before. I had planned to do a drive-by and a little visit site inspection
A
the week
drive-by in
the week
California?
yes, exactly. Yeah. I knew I wouldn't be able to do much because
Get
a
down.
month before the wedding, she got a call saying, "We're really sorry to do this, but we have to cancel all of our events for the rest of the season. As you know, this is a government-owned building, and the city is starting renovations on the downtown properties on October 10th, so we're canceling everything thereafter." I don't know everything that happened after that, but somehow, even though construction had started on the 10th, she was still able to have her wedding there on the 17th.
Wow.
Two other weddings were canceled completely, and I don't know what those people had to do. But I don't know if they smelled a lawsuit coming,
Right.
or if the facility, the employees, like the actual wedding planners for the site, were very, very good to work with. They were
Okay.
great people, really helpful, but just the situation was made so much more complicated. And I didn't even hear about her rehearsal changing till after it was over.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was going to go in Friday night just because I wanted to see it for me. She hadn't actually booked a rehearsal package, and they weren't doing a rehearsal dinner entertainment or anything like that. But I just thought, for my own self, I'm going to surprise her. I'm going to tell her next week, "Hey, I'm going to come down Friday night and just be there during the rehearsal." So I got a text that said, "I just have a question about the microphone for the officiant. We just finished our rehearsal." This was almost 3 weeks before the wedding. And I'm sitting there going, "Wait, what happened?" And she said, "Yeah, because of the construction, they made us do our actual rehearsal super early,
Oh my
and not
gosh.
everybody could be there." I didn't know. I mean, I live 2.5 hours away. You know, it was crazy. So, in the venue, it was gorgeous, and I can see why she picked it. She had kind
Hmm.
of a little bit of a Beauty and the Beast theme going. It was a library
Okay.
that is this big historic pretty library right in downtown San Jose, or in downtown Sacramento, with a big event space that was 2-story. So she had sketched the layout for me. I had gone by the day before and taken some pictures, but I hadn't met with the coordinator. They were not there because they'd been kicked out of their offices because of the
Sure.
construction.
Sure.
I had to talk a security guard into letting me in, even though he wasn't supposed to. It's
Okay.
like, "No, really, I drove in from Reno, and
Right.
I need in." So the ceremony, the guests were seated on the main level, and the ceremony itself took place one level up on a balcony in front of a window. So it was really pretty. But I had groom and his brother walking in, parents and grandparents on the main level from one side door. And then he had to take these secret stairs and go up to the top. And then all the guys were walking in from the center back and coming down one side. No, they were walking in from one side, and the girls were walking in from a different door. And so I had their coordinator was trying to, cue me when they were ready, and I had to cue my husband, who was had to play a different song for each thing. It was just crazy. And ceremonies don't usually stress me out. And maybe that's because I'm used to being at rehearsal, or maybe it's because most of them are not that complicated
Right.
in terms of coming in on multi levels. I mean, the recessional
Well,
involves elevator, and
yeah.
they had 2 songs. We got the elevator switched to this song, and yeah, it was crazy.
I think what you have is a one-off case.
Yeah.
And sure, anything can be preempted by proper planning, but I would argue that you did your proper planning. I mean, how else are you going to know? You know, the
Yeah.
bride didn't let you know that far in advance. So that's what, 3, 4 weeks prior, you said?
Yeah, but I think she only had 2, 3 days notice to pull a
Oh
rehearsal
my
together.
gosh.
Yeah.
That's
'Cause-
asking a lot
Yeah.
as a
It was,
venue,
yeah.
and I don't.
But the hardest part for me as an MC is I like to connect with the whole wedding party,
Yeah,
not just my bride and groom. And I tell them, I said, my whole job is to make sure that you guys know what's going on, that you
yeah,
know where you need to be. And if I'm basically going to be bossing them around, telling them where to line up, when to walk in, I want to have a little bit of relationship with them. And I did not have the opportunity to do that. In this case, they had done a lot of their photos ahead of time, which was great because there wasn't that element. And they were all kind of together in one area. And
yeah.
before the ceremony, I got to at least go in, introduce myself a little bit, practice names, that type of thing that I like to do at rehearsal. But it's so much harder to connect when you're not meeting them until day of.
Yeah,
It just,
it's much more challenging, and you got to find a way to connect with them right off the bat, whatever that might be, if it
yeah.
is day of. And there's lots of ways to do that. Whether it's, we do that often because oftentimes, I would say maybe 25%, 30% we have rehearsal.
Hmm.
We're meeting the wedding party in advance. But that means 75%,
You're not.
70% we're not. So oftentimes we'll use our personalized introductions to kind of get on that familiar level with the wedding party as we're lining them up. Something to the effect of, I know about you. And that tends to, like, what do you
Yep.
mean? And you get
Yep.
that response, and then their friends are like, oh, look out, like this. And
Yeah, and we did have a little bit of that. They didn't, it was fun and funny. They didn't want a true personalized intro,
sure,
but each person had their own song. But they really didn't want me to say
that's
anything
cool.
besides their names. And the bridesmaids and groomsmen did not know what song the bride and groom had chosen.
That makes for a very quick transition for your DJ.
Yes.
Uh, Been
And he
there,
did great. He
done
nailed
that.
it. He did awesome. So
I'm
we
glad
had
to
each
hear that
song
Craig nailed it.
cute. We
What?
had each song queued up and
Yep.
he did a great job.
Good.
That was the other weird thing. The space itself was really spread out, and
Okay.
they had the whole area where had been seating, they had screens on either side where they had the tables preset. And I think in my mind, I just assumed when they took those screens down, they were moving the tables closer together, and they didn't. So the
Ah.
dance floor was 2.5 times larger than it should have been,
Oh boy.
and which was interesting. But it was okay, and we just like I had to roll with it. I hadn't met the coordinator ahead
Yeah.
of time, a venue I'd never worked at before, likely will never work at again.
Right. Well, and these are
And
things again where you
yeah,
try to have advanced communication as much as you can with a venue. I remember
but when
having
their
one.
offices are shut down 2 weeks before
Well,
the wedding, it's like, what do you do?
well, and I think we talked about this on our trip to the West Coast together. I had that
That's when I
venue.
stopped by on the way back after I dropped you
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
airport. Yeah, that's when I went to do the site inspection.
So I
So
did a site visit for this venue over in Wisconsin for one of my staff, and we talked about where the photo booth was going to be laid out. And then my staff gets there,
totally
venues in
different.
a yeah. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what was the point of me driving 3 hours plus round trip to go to your venue then?
I did one of those where I drove almost
Yeah,
an hour, met with the coordinator and the bride and groom, did our planning meeting on site, and still showed up the day of the wedding to find this really elaborate cake display right where our DJ booth was supposed to
yeah.
be. So
So the
you
point,
try and you got to roll with it.
yeah, exactly. That I think is the ultimate thing you can take away from this is you got to roll with it. You got to stay professional at all times, but make that mental note of may not want to work there again or
Really made me kind of though my gut said maybe I should revisit how I do my pricing and packaging. Maybe I should just insist on rehearsal being included. And I think at a minimum, if I ever do take an out of town wedding again, I don't think I'll give that option. If it's a venue that I've never worked at before and
yeah,
don't really have the opportunity to go and spend much time in because it's out of town, I might just say, hey, this is, I would price it differently
yeah.
and package it differently.
I think a
But
site
that's just me learning.
site visit is almost required. I think for a lot of out of town venues you've never been to before,
Yeah.
pretty much requirement. So that's Creating Connections podcast episode 33. I'm Gitomer certified advisor Mitch Taylor.
And I'm certified personality trainer Vickie Musni.
If you'd like to hear more, you can check out our websites. It's vickiemusni.com, or you can visit mine at mitchtaylor.net.
And I
And
want to hear what you guys do about rehearsals. Are you there?
yes,
What do you do when you're not there? How do you connect with the wedding party if you
comment
haven't met them ahead of time? Please
comment
comment.
down below.
I want to know.
Comment down below. Shoot us a carrier pigeon and eat. No,
An owl?
yeah,
No, sorry.
yeah. Who? Who?
No,
Okay.
I have kids into Harry Potter. So.
Nice. Shoot us a message. Let us know how we can help you create better connections. Episode 33. We'll see you next time.
Take care.